かっただけなのに。どうして。一体人さん、ここに。
Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Alice Bunny Rabbit. It's Alice, and I am so glad to see all of you again. It's been a little bit of a while. I just wanted to say first, before we start the video, that I am so sorry for being gone. I wanted to take a little bit of a mental health break, and I've also been in the middle of making a video that is extremely long, so it's taking a little bit longer than expected. And not only that, but also I'm working on other videos as well. So I haven't forgotten about you guys. I'm still doing things, I'm still making videos, and I'm just so glad to be back. This game is called Even and Death. It just came out last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago. It's fairly new. The demo to this game, I believe, was uploaded on YouTube sometime around, I believe, I don't know, 7 months ago by now. And I've been wanting to play it ever since. It kind of gives me the vibe of like Panophobia. A lot of other people said that as well from Blackstain. That's also initially why I was interested in this game. This is going to be the first ever walkthrough that I do on my YouTube channel. I have done walkthroughs on my other social media platforms, but I've never actually done a walkthrough on my actual YouTube channel. So this is going to be the first one. I'm excited for that. I really just wanted to. I finished playing the game a few days ago. It took me um a few nights to get it done. There's just a lot of things about the game that it doesn't really tell you. There's a lot of things in this game that it kind of expects you to figure out on your own. If you go to the Steam page for this game, in the description, it even says that it's a high difficulty trial and error kind of game. That is very, very true. The game does tell you some things, but not everything, so that's what I'm here for, to help you guys out with that. So, given that, I do also want to say that I am going to be skipping dialogue and I'm going to be skipping notes. Some of the notes I will read, but majority of them I'm going to be skipping them. Reason being for that is because, well, number one, like I said, this is going to be a walkthrough, and number two, I'm going to be uploading a lore video sometime after I post this video. For those of you that have already stuck around my channel before and have watched some of my videos, you might be a little bit familiar with some of my lore videos. So I'm definitely going to be explaining the story, talking about the story, and just really talking about everything that is going on in this game in another video. So I believe that's it. I know that that was a lot that I threw at you guys, but yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So, right here, don't even bother trying to get through that door. We're not supposed to be there. Not quite yet. Just go ahead and walk over to this door. So, the game does have a, what's it called? When you open up the game itself suggests to you that you should play you should play the game wearing headphones. I did not do that. I've beat the game twice already. You don't have to play the game with headphones. Right now I'm doing that because I'm recording, so I kind of need to have my headphones on. So just keep that in mind. That door is locked. So just go ahead and go through this door. That is empty. And just go ahead and pick up this note. Alright, so this note right here talks about some of the monsters, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it, but any of the other notes we're just going to skip. So it says, I discovered a human morphing into a sound seeker a moment ago. My favorite Ochibito is Sound Seeker. Sound seekers are always smiling and appear extremely happy. Every time I see them, I'm reminded of how remarkable Ochibito are. Strategy. The Sound Seeker is blind, but it uses its excellent hearing to search for humans. Move while crouching when the Sound Seeker is finished running and starts listening closely for prey. I don't really know how to pronounce the name for that one. I believe it's talking about like the body parts. A body part that has that name. I don't know. I know that sounds stupid, but I'm pretty sure the creature itself is called a Viscera. The Viscera is the most frequently observed and captured Ochibito to date. They constantly mutter human words as they walk around, and any human they find will be chased and driven to madness. Afterward, they use a liquid secreted from the tips of their tentacles to dissolve the bodies. Viscera use both sight and hearing to search for humans, so stay out of their line of sight and avoid making loud noises near them. So at this point in time, the girl... Hold on. I think something passed over my head. Yeah.
何かが室内に入ってくるかも。
So to enter a locker, just go ahead and press E. And just wait for the enemy's footsteps to stop, and then you are safe to go. Now, I do want to say that I don't think, because I've played the game twice already, I don't think anything ever does come inside this room. It's kind of just like a tutorial teaching you how to, hide. And unfortunately, as you guys saw, your line of sight is, well, your vision is blocked while you are hiding. So you really have to pay super close attention. If you want to survive, you're going to have to really pay attention to the enemy's footsteps. So for right now, we don't have to worry about any enemies showing up. But after that, just go through this door, I believe. And right here, just go ahead and interact with, I don't know if those are pants or like a towel or something. Pretty sure they're a pair of pants. You will get the room 301's key. And the diary I was keeping 1. So like I said, we're not going to bother reading that. I will be explaining the entire lore of the game later on in another video. And right here, this is where you save. The game does not support autosave, so just make sure that you really just save as much as you can. So, throughout the walkthrough, I am going to be editing out the parts where I save my game because It's kind of time consuming. But yeah, just know that if you want to save your game, you are going to have to find a door that looks like that. And, you know, the save room will always look the same. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so we have the key. So let's go ahead and go back to that door. This is the first door. This was locked at first. It's very ambient. That's nothing. It's a very, strange sound coming from that door. But just go ahead and go through there. Now, what we're going to want to do is turn on this alarm. Just keep in mind that it's going to be quite loud. Very loud and very disturbing. Okay. And now we are going to encounter our first monster. So for this monster, you're going to want to just crouch, and then he won't notice you. Like the note said, he is blind. But when he runs around, make sure that you stop moving, or else he will knock you down. Okay. Like so. I know that the footsteps sound really loud in the game, but your footsteps are actually silent when you're crouching. So, he's a bit of an easy enemy to get around when it's just him in a room by himself. But, fair warning, not every enemy, I believe... Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, he is the only monster in the game that is blind. So, be careful for that. I will be showing you guys how to avoid each monster. Okay, so now that the alarm was on, this sign was not flickering, but now that it's flickering, that means that we can go in there. That was quite the scream. Okay, so don't even bother trying to go down there. We're going to have to check every room here first before we go down. This door, I believe, is locked. And here's another save. I'm just gonna go ahead and save as much as I can. But like I said, I will be editing out any other time after this, I will be editing out when I save my game. And let's see. The Ochibito Soundseeker has poor eyesight, but it's quick and has excellent hearing. The Soundseeker moves frequently, so if it hasn't spotted you, stay still, while crouching to remain safe. And let's just go ahead and pick up this note. Let's see. Yeah, that's just some more lore, so we're not gonna bother reading that. Okay. Now we can get out of here. So now that we have investigated everywhere that we can on this floor, we can go down.
ター2階までしかい
Yeah, so for now, the elevator will only go to the second floor. Okay, so when you see this guy, he is called the Ground Shaker. When you see him, just approach really slowly, like so. When he starts shaking the ground, just go ahead and run. For now. Later on, I'm gonna show you guys a different strategy for him. And after that, go ahead and enter this room. Now, this is quite a sight. But believe it or not, this room is safe. For now. I know it doesn't look like it. So, just go ahead and talk to the girl. She's not going to answer you, but she's going to be a little important later on. And this room as well is also safe. So this is more lore that I'm not going to bother reading. If you interact with this right here, this is a lock. It's not going to do anything now because we don't have the code. I will be showing you guys where the code is. Okay? So, let's just go ahead and leave. So once you're done there, go through this door, and make sure that you interact with this drawer. Now, this note right here talks about some of the monsters, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it. Check for Shadow Stalkers. Shadow Stalkers are female type Ochibito that float silently around and are always moving. They possess long, beautiful hair, but their abdomens are grotesquely torn open, exposing rotting flesh that emits a foul odor. Despite being otherworldly entities capable of driving humans fatally insane, they appear to have a strong sense of caution towards humans. If a shadow stalker approaches, stare at her to make her retreat or hide in a locker. Check for ground shakers. Ground shakers have purple skin and look like they're doing yoga. Its huge body is covered in cuts and bleeding wounds. It doesn't move, but when approached, it makes a strange noise while pounding the ground with its arms. This noise causes humans to bleed from all orifices? I've never seen that word before, I don't think. But based on the discovery of corpses nearby, listening to the noise for too long in this world also leads to madness and death. When passing by, approach as close as possible, quietly, while crouching. When the ground shaker starts to thrash around, swiftly run past it before being driven fatally mad. So, for now, in the beginning of the game, it's safe to do that, to crouch when you approach the ground shaker, and then to run when it starts pounding and screaming. But later on in the game, when the game gets a little bit harder, that's not going to be really possible. But, like I said, that's for later. So, for now, our goal for right now is finding the code for the lock. So go ahead and when you enter this floor, just make sure that you crouch. That door is locked. Like so. I think this is the door that we need. When walking near Viscera or Sound Seekers, there is danger of being detected by the sound of your footsteps. In particular, when leaving places like lockers where your surroundings are unclear, moving carefully while crouching will make it harder for enemies to detect you and increase your chances of survival. Okay. When you hear him stop moving, it's safe to just go. And we need this crowbar over here. Rusty crowbar. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait for him to move to our left. And then we should be clear to go. Okay, now let's get the hell out of there. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and save. So right after you obtain the crowbar, go back to where we came. Through this door. And we're going to need to use that crowbar to get these pieces of wood off of the door. And now we can enter. Be very careful when you enter this room. We're just gonna go ahead and wait for him to walk away. There is a Shadow Stalker in here, so just make sure that she doesn't touch you. That's very simple. When I first played the game, I died a lot. A lot. I'm not gonna even over-exaggerate. I died a lot. But I've never actually died to a Shadow Stalker. So and make sure that you go ahead and open the refrigerator. To get that note. I am going to be showing you guys where to find notes. Nope, get away from me. All the notes in the game, I will be showing you guys where to get them. Okay, so we're not going to bother reading the notes. What we really care about right now is the code, which is 625. So, if you ever forget the code, you're always free to go to the menu and check your notes. It'll be there, in case you do forget. And also, I knew the code already because I've played the game a few times, but putting the code in the lock is not going to work unless you've actually found the note first. So just go ahead and keep that in mind. Okay, now let's just go ahead and get the hell out of there. Now, since we have the code, let's go back to that girl's apartment. Let's see. That should be here. Yep, if you see the ground shaker, that means that, you're in the right place. And let's go back to the lock. So we're just going to put 6, 2, 5. Now, getting that, we will have room 202's key. Okay. I believe, I can't really remember, might be here. Is this where it's at? Yeah, this is where it's at. Make sure you stay crouched. And there is another note. I'm not going to bother reading any of these notes, like I've said before. Okay, when your screen is red, just make sure that you find somewhere safe to stand before everything looks normal. And oh my goodness, look at that ground shaker. He is just... He is a little more massive than the other ones that we've encountered. Oh, make sure that you watch out for her. And open that up. This will give you the fuse. I will show you guys where we need to use that. Just be very careful when walking back and forth if you're in a room like this that has some monsters. Like the game has mentioned before, running is pretty dangerous, so make sure that you avoid running whenever you can. So right here is where we're going to use the fuse. And now that means that we can go downstairs. And there is another note. So that's more lore. Let's make sure that you go through this room. So, confirmed existence of Tote Bag. The Tote Bag is an Ochibito shaped like a massive hand, carrying a grotesque sack filled with living creatures. It manifests from the void when a human approaches and attacks it. It attacks if it detects their presence. Its main danger is its ability to perfectly mimic any sound. It amplifies fear of emitting the groans of other Ochibito and the screams of humans from within its sack. Be cautious not to be deceived by false sounds. When this entity detects someone nearby, it will dive down from above, so you must hold your breath and stay completely still to avoid detection. If it senses you and begins pursuit, the best course of action is to hide in a locker immediately. So, kind of similar to the Shadow Stalker, I haven't actually died to this ghost before or monster. Well, I did once, but it wasn't from pursuing. My head actually touched the bottom of the sack one time. So make sure that you're not too quick to leave, because it will put its hand back up. You have to make sure that you're safe before you proceed to leave. So, some Ochibito require you to hold your breath to avoid being noticed. Understand the countermeasures each Ochibito and respond accordingly to survive. So, to hold your breath, just go ahead and press F. And don't just ignore that sound, because it's just lying to you. Yeah, kind of just dives down really quickly. It's a little bit of a jump scare. I've gotten jump scared by him a few times. It's just really sometimes the game can be really quiet and then the scream just happens out of nowhere. So later on, this locked toy treasure chest will be important. And, oh, I totally forgot there's nothing in there that's important. But yeah, we are going to have to return here soon for that chest. Now, let's get out of there. So you're gonna have to be a little bit careful when you leave that room. Let's go ahead and hide in the locker. Now, there is a... I don't know if I'm saying it right. There is a Viscera and a Sound Seeker there. So, the game gets gradually harder. This is still the beginning of the game, so it's still pretty easy. But just keep in mind that the game is going to put a few different monsters in certain places. At certain times, it's gonna... might feel like, wow, how do I get through this? And I had trouble with that too at one point, but it's okay. That's what I'm here for. And that's where another note is. Other than that, there's nothing left in this room. Be careful because sometimes the tote bag shows up here. If not, I think he always shows up. So let's go through this room. There is nothing. The only important thing in this room is the teddy bear. If you ever hear any sounds like this in the game, it's just a radio. I know it sounds really unnerving, but it's really nothing. So we will be back for that teddy bear later. For now, we are just going to go. Oops. Forgot that he shows up right there. For now, we are going to go at the end of the corridor. And look at that door. We can't go through the door now, but it'll be important later. Go ahead and pick up this note. So I'm going to read this one. It says, I place what I cherish most inside the treasure chest, so I don't lose the key. I'll hide it inside the teddy bear. Now, similar to the code that I was talking about earlier, if you know the code, like if you played the game already, you can't put the code in the lock unless you have the note. It's the same thing with the teddy bear. You cannot interact with the teddy bear unless you've interacted with that note first. So, let's go ahead, open up that teddy bear. Now that gave us the treasure chest key. So because of that, we are going to go back where the treasure chest was. Okay, that tote bag guy didn't show up this time. Oh, he is coming back, so we're gonna have to wait a while. Just keep your distance. That is not good. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? Now, you gotta be careful. This is the perfect time for me to explain this. I heard that monster, I heard him stop walking, but I didn't immediately leave the locker, as you guys saw, because that guy, he was running around like that. So, and you gotta be careful when you are in the locker. You can't immediately leave the locker. The game does not tell you this. You cannot immediately leave the locker when you hear the Sound Seeker running, because sometimes he might just run into you. So, yeah, that was just bad timing. Okay, we can go back to this room. And the tote bag did not show up that time. Okay, now that we have the key, we will get a piece of a diary, and what really matters is the sachet. Now that we have this, we can go back downstairs or upstairs, excuse me. We can go back upstairs to where that girl was and give it to her. Alright, so once you have that, just go ahead and talk to her. And after that, she is going to leave. So the beginning of the game is over. It's showing the title of the game, which is pretty much a sign that the beginning of the game is over, and now the real game is going to start. So make sure that you interact with the corpse. It's going to give you the Forest Park entrance key. So that shutter that we saw a few times walking back and forth, we're going to use it there. This one. So we are in area 2. Alright, so to survive in the next area, players will need to find countermeasures beyond the information written in the Ochibito discovery record. Crouch walking will not always be the correct option to take. At times, you may need to run when dealing with sound seekers, or walk instead of stopping when encountering ground shakers. Don't rely on a single strategy, experiment with different... Don't rely on a single strategy, experiment with different approaches. So really, from what I understand, let's go ahead and pick up this note first. really, from what I understand, is that the reason, before we leave the apartments and, the girl leaves that apartment and the game shows the title, it's really saying, okay, that was the tutorial part of the game. Now we're doing the real thing. This is kind of like the real game now. And this is how the game is going to be moving forward. So after you pick up that note, go to the girl's bathroom. I know it seems really creepy, but believe it or not, it's safe in here. And interact with the third stall. There is another character behind the stall, but we're going to go ahead and just skip this. It's worth listening to what she says because we're going to have to find her ring. And so when you play for the first time, it's worth listening to what she says because she'll tell you where you need to go to find it because it's going to be a little bit mazy. Now go to the men's bathroom to find this note. And right here, we don't have the key yet, but if you look into the drain and see something shiny deep inside, we might need to find some kind of tool to get it out. So, we'll worry about that later. I'm gonna go ahead and save again. Now, I'm not going to have a lot of time to talk, to be honest with you, so there's going to be some times where you're just going to have to observe what I do. So yeah, let's just go ahead and proceed. This monster right here, I don't think he has a name. I don't even think he has a note in the game. But he kind of just follows you. Oh, that was the wrong way. Wow. I already forgot. Okay, let's do that over again. When he doesn't have his hand up, you're safe. If his hand is up, make sure that you hide in a locker if you see one. And wait for his hand to go back down. It'll make a sound. Go ahead and interact with that board right there. That's another note. Now, that really tall ghost or monster, I don't really know how to explain it, but he's on a little bit of a timer. So when you get into a locker and you exit, the timer kind of just starts over again, if that makes sense. Oh. Oh wow, oh wow. I thought he was going that way. Wow. That was almost bad. Okay. Confirmed existence of ear blocker. The ear blocker is an Ochibito with swollen flesh on its back, from which insect-like wings sprout, constantly emitting a disturbing buzzing noise. This sound severely impacts human sanity, quickly deteriorating mental stability. Interestingly, the ear blocker itself is affected by the noise, writhing in pain with its face twisted in agony. It sometimes... It moves at high speed, patrolling a wide area, making it a constant threat. However, it does not attack humans on sight. The best strategy is to avoid approaching the ear blocker altogether. Prolonged exposure to its buzzing will cause a rapid decline in sanity, so maintaining distance is crucial. If forced to approach, the safest option is to hide in a locker or stay at the edge of a corridor until it passes. So kind of similar to right there, where you find the notes. The note is like a hint, in a way, that you can hide, and he won't touch you if you're that far. Okay, let's go through that shuttle. And he put his hand up, so that means that we have to hide in the locker. When you hear his hand go down, that means that you can leave. Now look at that creepy swing moving on its own. Yeah, but just go ahead and save. If you get to this part, we're not quite done with the forest yet, so yeah, just go ahead and save as much as you can. Okay, so the game is getting harder. Hurry up, go. Jeez. Go ahead and wait for him to go. And interact with that drawer to get the long iron wire. Oops. I am so sorry, I did that wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and cut to the part, that I do it right. Go ahead and interact, with that drawer to get this diary. Yeah, sometimes you're just gonna have to run past a ground shaker. Collect that note. Okay, and just make sure that you go ahead and save. Alright, so after that, we can proceed. Now it's getting creepier and creepier. I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. Oops. He just pops out of nowhere. And I believe we have to go right. Not good. Not good. Might be worth going back into the locker, because the tall ghost, he's on a bit of a timer. Kind of annoying. Okay. Thank God. God damn it. Okay, just make sure that you go through that shuttle. Okay, pick up this note. Well, it's the wedding ring first, and then there is a note. Okay, so now that we have the ring, we can return it to the girl. So I'm gonna go ahead and save first. And after that, you are done. You do not have to ever go back to the forest again, thankfully. So we're going to skip this dialogue, but it's going to show a bit of a cutscene. So just watch really closely. Now, is that just not, like, absolutely fucking terrifying? Okay, so after we talk to her, we have the key painted with blue skies and clouds. So that door that we saw earlier that had the blue sky on it, you know, with the clouds, that's where we need to go. But first, we have a long wire. We're going to use that to get this key out. Room 304's key, which had blood on it. So before we go to the, what's it called? Before we go to the door that has the blue skies, we're going to check out room 034, and then we're also going to check out another room as well. So now that we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and check a few things first before we move on to the third area of the game. So first, I'm trying to think where to show off first. Maybe I'll show this off first. Yeah, I should do that. It's closer. So after this part, or maybe it happens even earlier in the game, I'm not sure. But take a look. Be careful, you have to crouch in here from now on. After the girl leaves, her father that she killed, this is what he becomes. A sound seeker. So previously it was safe to walk inside here. But now, just be mindful. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do in there, though. But just be mindful that if you do wish to return there, that you just crouch. Okay, so after that, there is something else to check. Go to the third floor. I don't believe there's any monsters here. And yeah, go to room 304. You'll know that you're at the right place when you see a door with blood on it. And look at this atrocious sight.
あれは
I can see a sachet buried, covered in blood, deep within the mass of flesh. So, if you guys remember, the girl that was in the kitchen that killed her father, we gave her the sachet, and she left. And it's implied that she somehow became this. This is a very, very ominous, very, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Just a very ominous atmosphere when you come inside this room with the light, you know, swaying back and forth. There's nothing else to do in here, but it's just a little hint. So, there's nothing to do in the rooms where this girl and her father are at, but you do have the option to look. So, moving right along, we're going to go downstairs. We're going to go to floor 1. So, same as before, to get to floor 1, slowly but surely make your way down to the corridor. Sounds that washing machine. It's a really odd place to put a washing machine, but just the sound of it being there is just... it's quite eerie. Never thought that I would ever say that the sound of a washing machine would be eerie. But... okay. So this is where we want to use our other key that we haven't used yet. So, just watch out for that guy. And do be extra careful because there is a sound seeker here as well. And make sure you just listen for footsteps when you're in the lockers. Okay. Slowly but surely. Do be careful because I believe that the tote bag monster always shows up here. Okay, we're almost where we need to be. Oh, I almost died there, I think. Well, I got lucky. Okay, so if you guys recognize this door from earlier, this is where we need to be. Now look at the atmosphere of the game. It's much brighter. I would have to say that this is by far the brightest and the most colorful area of the game. But it's, despite that, it still managed it's still managing to kind of, how do I put this? The eeriness, the creepiness, like how she says right there, this place might feel a bit creepy. So, yes, that's definitely what I'm getting. I was kind of astonished um, when I first played. I couldn't believe how colorful and bright it looked. Yet, the eeriness and the overall atmosphere of the game did not change at all. So, props to the developer for that. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of Squid Game. If you guys have watched Squid Game, you might be familiar with the way how the games that are played in Squid Game, they look all childlike and uh, you know, kind of eerie. Like the atmosphere of Squid Game kind of looks like this as well. So here is another note, and this is going to be the save that we use for this area. So right after that, I believe this door is locked because it's not time to go through there yet. Go to the door that has the A on it. Now, we are going to meet a new character, but like I said before, I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to be reading any notes and I'm not going to be reading any dialogue. My only purpose for this video is just to walk you through it. So, let's go ahead and talk to him and skip the dialogue. It's worth listening to what they're talking about, but like I said, we're not going to, we'll be uncovering that later on. So now I think this door is open. No, it's not. Oh yeah, that's right. We have to go here first. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a lengthy note, but it's worth reading. Confirmed existence of corruption spreader. This Ochibito is a particularly intriguing entity. When it was first captured in the lab, the storage room and hallway transformed into a bizarre landscape resembling an amusement park by the end of the day. Furthermore, although there was supposed to be only one distorted reflection, 3 days later, it appeared to have multiplied into 4. However, it was later discovered that they possessed the ability to create illusions, meaning their numbers hadn't actually increased. Corruption spreader, senses dulled and unable to see, often remains stationary. However, if you run, it will notice you. The corruption spreader tends to emit a groaning sound when it detects a human nearby and will sometimes suddenly begin to move around freely. Strategy. The corruption spreader can be classified into 3 patterns. Harmless illusions created by the corruption spreader. These entities are mere illusions and can be passed through without any danger. To be honest with you, I don't know which of those that I'm kind of, even though I've beat the game twice already, I have trouble with that because they all kind of look the same. But the wandering type, alternating between light sleep and waking, if it suddenly starts trembling and screaming, it's a sign that the Ochibito is about to move. At this stage, you haven't been noticed yet, but if the corruption spreader starts walking toward you, keep your distance. The deep sleep state. If you run nearby, it'll notice you. Walk by it slowly, and if it starts groaning, hold your breath until the groaning stops to avoid detection. So like so, just walk really slowly. If it starts groaning like that, just hold your breath. And also, really quickly, I just want to take a moment to say, oh, oops. Okay, I was saying, I just want to take a moment to just say, look at the atmosphere of this room as well. Um, it's very, very liminal, very, is that how you say the word? But, I think what they were trying to go for was the back rooms, which that is extremely creepy, in its own right. So right here, there's a large button on the wall marked with a D, but I don't really know what it does, so I'd better not touch it. So, I know what the code for that is, but we can't actually use the code until we have the hints to that. So that's going to be important later on. And you want to be really careful when you enter here. That can kind of catch you off guard if you haven't played the game yet. Like I said before, you're just gonna have to be really careful here. I know it can be really hard with the ear blocker and I believe you say his name, Viscera, but it's definitely manageable. You just have to pay attention. I don't mean to be quiet for those times. If I'm ever quiet in the game, I'm just trying to really, listen to the footsteps. Okay, so this note right here is not lore related. It's definitely worth reading because it's a hint on how to finish the clue. The Not finish the clue because, that probably sounds weird, but it'll give you clues on what the code is. So, So let's go back. Okay, we actually cannot access the code yet. So that means that we have to keep exploring. Now listen to that music. Okay, the sea door is locked for now. Now take a look at this monster. This monster right here, you're probably noticing how it's not doing anything to me. This monster, I don't even know what the name of it is because there's not any notes of this monster at all. You just have to look at the eye. Yeah, that's really creepy. I do not recommend. She disappeared just now, but when you see that monster... Okay. Okay. Too fast. Alright, I'm going to explain it to you guys here. When you see that monster, because as far as I know, she's nameless, some of the monsters in the game are nameless, stay really close to her. If not, a sound of a baby crying will happen and your screen slowly turns red. That means that she's slowly killing you. But if you stay close to her, like I showed you, she will not make that noise. But for some reason, when she comes back, she'll do like this really creepy singing noise, and I guess that also slowly kills you. So when that happens, you can get away from her, and then she won't make that crying, weird baby noise. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So, whenever I need her to stay close to me, but I need to move, I just kind of walk back. She kind of just catches up with me. And we are going to have to go at the end of the corridor. This is another note that you have to collect. Okay, that's locked. But we're able to go through here. And do be careful because she shows up here as well. I believe the E door is locked, yep. Oh, I'm gonna have to get away from her. I think the F door is locked now as well. Oh no, it's not. Okay, so it's a little bit mazy. It's another notepad. Now this room... This is the room that I'm... no. I don't think this is the one. I know that seeing this sound seeker right here, that was a little bit of a jump scare for me when I first played the game, but as you can see, he's not real. So. I'll just have to wait for him to go. Look at how close he can stand next to you. Okay, my sticky key's turned on. Okay, grab this note. This is also worth reading. So now that we have those two notes, we can put the code in. So there's two codes. So, but after that, we need to leave. There is no door at the other end of the corridor. It's just, in my opinion, I think it was a trick by the developer. So there's no need to worry about that. My screen was really red for a moment there. So now, go back this way. This door is going to be unlocked. And let's see, is this, okay, yeah, this is the beginning. Alright, the tote bag does not show up there all the time. So, for when it does happen, just be careful. Alright, so the first code is going to be, I wrote it down somewhere, 2143. And you'll know that you did it right if you hear that sound.
ピンポンだってさ、うまくいったのかも。
So, notice how it says D right there? That means that it's going to open up the D door. Because it was locked. But there's going to be another code just like that one. For a C door, I believe. Yeah, so this is locked, So the other code will open up that door. I'm trying to remember. No, that is not where the D door is. Okay, go here. This is now unlocked. Yeah, that was also a little bit of a jump scare for me when I first played the game. Okay. So the game is definitely a lot harder now. That is a very creepy laugh. I don't know if you guys heard that. Jeez, man, shut up. Okay, get the hell out of there. It's another diary. Look at this fish tank. It's so, in my opinion, it's so pretty and relaxing. I love that. And this is a rope that we need. We need to give that back to, well, not back, but we need to give that to the prisoner. Oops. So go this way to return to the prisoner. Alright, so return to the prisoner once you have the rope. Speak to him. You will not have the rope anymore. He gave us a key. We can go through the E door now. But we have to now find a chair for him. So we're going to do a little bit of backtracking. And if you guys are... I know earlier I said that it's a little bit mazy. Oops. Yeah. I'm too busy talking over here. But I'm getting caught. Okay. That was avoidable. So... I know earlier I said that it's a bit mazy, but really, all you have to do is just pay attention to the doors, and you should be good. I'm trying to remember who's in here. Alright, so this is where the second puzzle is at. So the code for this is going to be... I wrote this one down as well. 1432. So now the C door is open. So it's a little bit of backtracking, but it's alright. Wait for him to move. So you can see that this chair right here says that it's too big to carry. Definitely a really hard room to get through. So we're gonna wait for that ear blocker to go. And I believe this is the room. Yep, this is the room with the chair.
こんなところに
And there is another notepad. Okay, now we can take the chair back to him.
この
ありがわし事故なしばらく一人にしてくれ
So after that, he would tell you to leave him alone. So we're gonna go back to our save.
何の音
But before we can do that, we hear a strange sound. And we have to go investigate. And he is just
大丈夫って
totally gone. This also triggers a small cutscene.
"格好が私を呼んでいる」まるで私の心を見透かしたかのように
I should go back to where I first woke up. That is going to be the school. At first, we couldn't go through the school, but now we can. Alright, so we are going to go back to floor 1. going all the way back down to floor 1 is how you get to the school. Oh god. Okay, he didn't see me. Do be careful while going down here as well. Enemies don't disappear, so... Alright, so if you guys remember, this is the beginning of the game. This is one of the first corridors that we go through. So go through this door. This corridor is eerily silent, but you're free to run around because there isn't any monsters around here. Yeah, so those were the first few doors from the beginning of the game. So now since we've completed Area 3, we're now able to reach the school area. Now please tell me, is that not just nightmare fuel? Alright, so I think this last note right here is worth, well, this isn't the last note, but for this guy, this is going to be his last note. And I think it's worth reading. Suddenly, an irresistible drowsiness washed over me. My entire body was heavy as lead, as though it was no longer my own. Is there a need to sleep in this world as well? Takahashi-san never mentioned anything about this. This drowsiness can't simply be explained by mental fatigue. My eyelids are growing heavier still. I try to gather my thoughts, but I can't. Could it be that I'm...
もしかして今見た化け物が久野。
I know what you guys are probably thinking. Who is Hisano? What is it talking about? What the hell is going on? And rest assured, I will be explaining all of this in a separate video, but it is implied that that monster that we just saw, that he is an important character that the notes were talking about. So that's pretty eerie. So he is going to become an enemy from this point forward. I kind of had trouble with it. I think a lot of people have trouble when they first play the game. They kind of just don't really know what to do. It's totally understandable. I died a lot in this game when I first played. There's just a lot of things, like I mentioned before, there's just a lot of things that the game does not really explain. You kind of have to just figure it out for yourself. Alright, hello guys. I've been gone for a little bit. I took a little bit of a break from recording. For you guys, it doesn't look like I've been gone. It's only been a few seconds for you guys, but for me, I've been gone for a little bit because I'm not going to always be sitting on my butt recording videos. So, really quickly before we continue on, this next monster, the one that we saw before with the weird looking face, I don't really know. The game does not really explain every single monster and what they do. Only a few of them do. So it would have been nice for the developer to tell players how to get away from that monster, but I think what it is that he's attracted to sound. I don't really know. It's just not very clear. The game is not very clear at all when it comes to this monster. So I don't know. I've beat the game twice already, and it was kind of just like guessing for me. I don't really know, but I'll just go ahead and show you. So, from what I understand, you just walk and then run to the locker. He almost catches up with me. But you also have to pay attention to his footsteps. It's kind of hard to do while talking and recording at the same time. Yeah. So. He's gonna come back down, I think. Let's wait for that ear blocker to go. And I think once the ear blocker is gone, I'm free to go. Yep, okay. It's a little bit of guessing. And I gotta be a little bit careful here. Again, I do want to... I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I do want to repeat myself that for any time in the game that I'm quiet, I'm very sorry. That usually just means that I'm focused and I'm paying attention to the sound effects in the game, because sound is very, very important. It's a little bit hard to do while recording at the same time. But my job really is to just show you guys, if you guys are having trouble with the game, my job is to just show you. So what I'm really just trying to do is just, you know, it's a walkthrough, so of course I want you guys to beat the game if you're having trouble beating it, of course. So I'm making it look a tad easy at some points. Okay, now we have a save. I'm making it look a little bit easy at some points, but rest assured, I am not a prodigy. I have died very, very many times in the game before I was actually able to figure out what to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and let her catch up with us. I don't think I mentioned this anywhere else in the video, but the game has gotten a tad easier. There is a patch note on Steam. But you are able to play the harder version of the game if you want. I decided not to do that, so. Oh, are you fucking serious? I mean, I was dead either way, but I didn't even see him. Okay, that was the first time that happened. Right. I don't really know why, but I think it's because I'm recording. At some points, the game is a little bit laggy. But it wasn't like that when I play the game on my own, so I have a feeling it has something to do with recording. Oh, bad timing. Wow. The game does somewhat remind me of a game called After School Tag, in a way. I do want to mention that now we are on floor 7. I think when we get to floor 13, that'll be it. Remember to hold your breath for those guys. Oh god. That's not supposed to happen. But we made it out of there. You can't hold your breath the whole time, so that's pretty... Even for a game, that's pretty realistic. I think this is the last diary note that we will get. Oh, and this does trigger a cutscene. Alright, so I'd just like to go ahead and save after I get that cutscene, just in case I die because it is a little bit long. So you guys might want to do that too, especially on your first playthrough. Okay, let's stop making noise. I don't really like this part. Oh god. Okay, I remember this part being a little tricky. And it gets a little bit trickier. Okay, I think it's safe to go. Believe it or not, the game originally had less lockers than this. Don't even know how that's possible. I really, really don't. Okay, we're gonna wait for the ear blocker to go one more time. And then we should be safe to go. Alright, so that save right there is boarded up. So we are not able to use it, obviously. It's kind of like in my opinion, it's kind of like the game's way of saying, fuck you. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think we're safe. He just put his hand up, so we have to run to the locker. Like I said, when he puts his hand down, leave the locker. And you have to just run like hell to the door. And that is it. That is the game. Once you get here, you are safe. So for now, I'm going to just go ahead and show the ending, and then after that, I'll give my thoughts. So for now, let's just enjoy the ominous scenery and pick up this one last note. It's the last diary called The Last Diary I Kept, but for some reason, when you try to open up the menu to read it, you can't read it. So I don't know, maybe somebody knows how to read it, or if there's like a different ending. I have no clue.
どうしてこんなことになってしまったのだろう。 全てを終わらせたかった。それでも両親がどれほど悲しんでいたかを知っていたから。私はずっと耐えてきた。だけど二人にとって私の存在に価値はなく、ただの残り物に過ぎなかった。
Now, take a look at this. Our character, she is actually a monster. I don't know if it's
お父
a
さん、
coincidence.
お
Oh,
母
hold
さん、
on.
私には生まれ変わりなんていらない。生まれ変わってもこの世界には苦しみしかないから。だけどもし生まれ変わりが避けられないのなら、どうか次は誰の目にも留まらず、何も傷つけず、ただ静かに枯れていくだけの花でありたい。
So I'm gonna go ahead and let these credits roll, and then I'm going to talk about my thoughts after. Alright, so really quickly before I end the video, I want to talk a little bit about my thoughts and theories of the game. So I did load up a new game, but that's because the song in the main menu, I would have just spoke about my thoughts and everything at the main menu, but that music is kind of loud and kind of annoying. So the only option I really had, and also the save room is also pretty loud, so the only option I really had was just to redo the game, which is okay because I already beat the game, I recorded it. So, but yeah. So, really quickly before I end off this video, that was a really intense story, I have to say. We could see that our main character, she became a monster at the end, and it kind of seemed like she was hinting at being in an endless loop of suffering and reincarnation. It seemed like every single time she would die, she would come back as her human self and then become a monster and then die and then so on and so forth. And also, if you guys remember, the beginning of the game is actually also the ending. When you start up the game, the dialogue that she says, well, the dialogue that she says at the end of the game is pretty similar to the dialogue that she says at the beginning of the game. So it's a little bit hard to follow when you first open up the game, but it is, some stories do that where the beginning the ending is actually the beginning, and, vice versa. It kind of just ties into each other. So that was a really heavy story. I know those of you might be confused about the story. Like I said, I'm going to be breaking down the lore in another video for another day. But for now, I just wanted to get the walkthrough done. And also, the developer may have, what's it called? He may have, or she may have hinted that there will be a second game to this, or perhaps maybe they will make another game that's in the same universe as this one. Or I don't know. I would like to see a second game of this, but I don't really know if they want to do that. But it kind of seemed like the at the very end after the credits, it kind of seemed like it was hinting at a sequel, perhaps, or at the very least, maybe a game that is in the same universe as this one, or maybe not. And as far as I know, there isn't any other endings to the game, and I'm not sure how to read the last note. The note at the end that you can't read, that was probably done on purpose. Who knows? But for right now, that is the only ending to the game, I believe. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I was really excited for this game when I saw the demo of it on YouTube, I think 7 or 8 months ago. I've been waiting for it ever since, and I must say, I was not disappointed with this game at all. I don't really like stealth games that much, but I'd have to say that games like these are, in a way, stealth horror, and the way how it looks, the art style and everything, it has, in my opinion, it has like a certain niche to it. I know that a lot of people probably, myself included, but a lot of people have confused this game as, made by the same developer as the developer who made Panophobia. And that's actually not true. The developer themselves confirmed on Steam that that is a different person. But I really think it's cool how the art style is pretty similar, and even the monsters look really similar. Blackstain has some pretty good games, and I enjoyed Blackstain's games. I really enjoyed this one as well. I really do hope to see another game come from this developer, but indie devs, it takes them a while to make games because usually they are, if they're not working on the game themselves by themselves, then they have a very small team. Things can take longer. But I I do want to say that I did support this developer. I bought the game same day that it was released, and I know other people have as well. The game was a little bit difficult at some points. I know that some people were complaining that the game is a little bit too hard. I at one point thought that the game was hard. Funny story, I had to redo the game twice because there was something wrong with my save file. I think it was the patch or something. But I had to redo the game twice, and I've beat the game 3 times by now. So, but yeah, I don't know. It to me it was a very unique story. I really enjoyed it. Some people might look at this game and they might say, "Oh, this there's no niche to it. It's not really that special. The story seems generic or the monsters or whatever." I don't know. There was just something about it that just to me stood out in a certain way. I wish more people was talking or were talking about this game. There's only a few videos of the game uploaded on YouTube. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think I said everything that I wanted to say about the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed Even in Death. I did, and I hope that you guys, for those of you that were having trouble playing the game, I hope I helped you beat it somehow because the game is hard. The game is called a high difficulty trial and error game, and that is very true. A lot of trial and error does you do have to go through a lot of trial and error in the game to figure out what to do. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to be making one more video of this game explaining the lore when I have time. So, if it's not already out yet on my channel, just make sure, if you're interested, to make sure that you stay tuned for that. Alright, so this has been Bunny, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.